The thing that we're going to look at tonight is all over workouts, kind of doing every body part in one workout. And for me, I love them for three main reasons. One, when you're coming back from injury, it's a really good idea to just take the sting out of hard training. And what I mean by that is just doing a little bit here and a little bit there. I've been doing it now for nearly 2 weeks since I did my back in. And all over body workouts, just doing one exercise, 10 reps, keeping it nice and easy, but covering the whole body is a good idea. The second thing I like about all over full body workouts is if you've got limited time. So if you're only training twice a week doing the weights, I'm in here like I should just move the bed in really. But the fact is that some people go, I can only get twice a week. Well, if you're training twice a week, all over body workouts, best thing ever. Because what you don't want to do is smash the muscle and then it'd be 7 days before you train it again. So doing all over works very well. The other thing as well is if you're just starting out, Dorian Yates, best bodybuilder ever from the UK, said that's what he did first of all, is he just did all over body workouts. So when you're starting out, just getting used to feel for the machinery, getting used to the equipment before you move it on. And what we're going to look at tonight is TRX. So if you don't know what that is, it stands for total resistance exercise. And it's one of those things where, we just call them Hoovers now, or we did, before Dyson's came along, we called it Hoover, but that was a brand. Well, TRX is the brand designed by a Yank seal. And basically you can do full body workouts with these. But I never did. So pre-COVID, I used to use these in the gym. You'd see them on the frame, and they're brilliant for doing core. You might not think that, being a bit of a tub, but I did used to do a lot of core, particularly when I competed. And so what you do is you got them hanging, you lie on the floor, hook your toes in. You can do things like hill climbs, you can do crunches, you can do planks. They're fantastic for doing whole body stuff. And for doing core. But before COVID, I didn't use them because I'm in a gym. There's like 220 pieces of gear. There's all these racks of weights. I'm going to just use those. Then COVID hit. We started training at home and we had a very limited amount of space. So what I did was I went out and got some copy TRX. So just as a bit of a heads up, these are the real deal. Currently 130 of my beautiful British pounds, 150 US dollars, give or take. But back in the day, we bought a copy and there's loads out there. This was 40 quid, $50 and works just as well. But I got myself in my gym, so I thought I'd splash out and get something flash. So, but then when we started using it in the gym and they're just incredible. It's now become a really central part. So I've got my board over there and I have 45 different sections, 5 phases, 9 different body parts, 45, 7 of those are TRX. That's how important it is to me. And so for me, there are 3 massive benefits to TRX. First of all, it doesn't take up any space. It's like, I'll put it up on the anchor point in a minute. That's where it hangs. It goes in a tiny bag. It weighs 1.7 pounds. You can take it away with you. The last time I went on holiday, we went to the travel agent on the high street, a very novel concept. I think you'll agree. And I walked in and with Karen and I said, this is kind of what we're looking for. And we need a hotel, but it must have a gym. And she laughed. I went, no, if it doesn't have a gym, I'm not going. And it's a doghouse. It's a doghouse, sorry. And so we went in and she said, yeah, okay, I'll get you on with the gym. And it was great, but not fantastic. Take that bad boy with me and I can still do workouts. Because the thing is, all you need to do is, find an anchor point in a hotel room and you can do it in your hotel room or anywhere really. It's an incredibly versatile piece of gear. But the other thing as well is that you can cover every single body part. So it's the most versatile piece of kit that we have. And I find it really, really useful. So how do you get it started? How do you get it using? The number one thing, the most important thing, and I am talking from personal experience, make sure you've got a good anchor point. Now we've got one up here. I swear to God, it's drilled that far into the wall, it goes into next door's house. And we live in a detached house. You could hang a car off this. So you've got to make sure you get yourself a really good anchor point. What they have is this. They've got like a little cushion. And what you can do is you can feed the top of it through and stick it over the door. So that's why it's so versatile. You don't even need any room in your house. You can do it in your living room. It's absolutely amazing. So what you do is you stick it over, make sure you do it on the right side of the door, because you want it where the frame, the big frame, you know, is when it's settling in the frame, you want it this side, not the other. Just kind of saying, because there might be some idiots watching. And I'm honestly, I mean that with the greatest of heart, because I'm an idiot. I've done this because I did it here. So we got this gym, and I it's not even a gym, right? It's just a garage with some gear. So I painted it all, and then because I wanted everything orange because it's my favorite color. What I did was buy some carabiners, because I hadn't bought the big TRX. I'm using the old one. I got some orange carabiners. The plastic. I'm thinking, well, they've got to be tested. So I put it up on there. Put the old one on. Went full weight, didn't even test it like a fucking idiot, and I hit the I hit the deck hard, and it hurts. I'm talking from experience. I'm a fellow idiot. That's what you do. But get a great anchor point, because if you don't get a great anchor point, you are gonna hurt yourself. This is very cool. It comes with this. Basically, what you do is if you're outside and you've got a pole, you just wrap it around and then stick it through. Bloody brilliant. Honestly, so versatile. Make sure you've got a strong carabiner. Length. These are adjustable straps, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but they are. And so what you've got to do is work out what's best for you. Now, the longer it is, the harder as a rule. There's a lot more movement side to side, right? Which means you've got to balance more. So that does make it harder. If you get it further up here, like up here, then it's a lot easier. If you've never used these before, please, for everything that is holy in the world, go with a shorter strap. All right? Go with a short strap. And then feel your way through. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to do a workout. Because I mean, I watch all these videos where people are going, do this and do that and do that. And I'm like, dude, do the work, right? And so I'm actually going to do my workout. I didn't train yesterday. I didn't train this morning. I'm coming in now. I'm here. I've had my pre-workout. I'm buzzing my bollocks off, right? So I'm ready for this. And what I'm going to do is there's two ways, really. I mean, there's lots of different ways, but there's two main ways in which you can do this. One is like do a set of 10, maybe another exercise after it, keep your rest nice and short. That's not me. I'm only interested in one thing, beating my muscle to a pulp to get it as big as I possibly can, because I'm only interested in the aesthetic. At the end of this unit has got to be a beautiful Greek god experience at the other side. All right. And that's all I'm interested in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hard and heavy as much as I can. I'm going to cover every single body part. So it's going to take like the next 45 minutes. I'm going to take a rest in between. But what I'm also going to do are drop sets. If you don't know what a drop set is, basically when you're lifting weights, you go to failure, put the weights down, get the next one lower, maybe 20% lower, pick it up, go again, maybe do 2 drop sets. Obviously, there's no weight with TRX, but what you can do is make it harder by your foot positioning. So, for example, if I'm doing the chest, what I'll do is I'll start off, leaning forward quite a bit. Once it gets a bit hard, I'll come up a bit. Basically, you can almost come to the point where you stood still, because I want to pulverize the muscle and I want to strain it as hard as I can. I'm going to go big muscles to small muscles. There is a concept called pre-exhaust, where, say, for example, if you're doing chest, then you do your triceps first, bang out the triceps, that pre-exhausts them, tires them out, so that when you're doing chest, it works your chest more. I don't like that, personally. I prefer to use the bigger muscles, come into the smaller ones. So we're going to start with back, then we'll go on to chest, then we'll go on to legs. I've got a board. So this is called a calf stretcher balance board. But basically what it does is it allows my feet to be at an angle. So when I'm doing pull-ups and when I'm doing the back, my problem is that I'm quite strong. even at my weight, I'm reasonably strong. And so therefore, the straps are at the full extension and my feet are a long way forward. And the worst thing in the world is when you slip using TRX. You honestly, you see your life flash before your eyes. So whatever you do, make sure you've got a great surface, make sure you've got fantastic footwear, and just let yourself into it really gently so you know you're not going to slip. And that is fantastic. Again, not a ton of money, but it's more about safety than it is anything else. Now, there's lots of stuff, lots of people throwing stuff in here, which is amazing. Let me just answer a few stuff before I get started. So I'm going to do one set on each body part, absolutely smash myself to bits. But and in between, I'm going to have 2-minute rest and I'll come back and answer any questions. Vacation my ass. Finally got the live stream. I do full body 3 days a week. Perfect, mate. Absolutely perfect, John. That's what you should do. Maybe 20 minutes a session, easy and seeing results. Fantastic. That's how to start doing resistance training. Tyler, totally. I see the best results on a full body program. The bro splits were okay, but I see bigger gains in less time. You know, it's each to their own. I kind of still do a bit of a bro split. I still do push legs pull legs push, and then a day off. I like it, suits me, but I only do one exercise per body part, and I just go hard on that. You just got to find your thing. I mean, you know, if you listen too much to stuff out there, you just end up going a little crazy. But you've got to find out what works for you. I'm nearly 60, so therefore, my sessions are quite short. I focus on one thing, train really hard, always to failure, take enough days off, and I'm all right as long as I don't injure myself. Across the pond here in the Boston area. All right. Hello, John. Hello, my American friend. Tyler. So Tyler lives in the UK, but is a Yank. The White Mountains. Can't wait to get moved house. All my gym in storage. Time to train at leisure centre with the digs. I got to say, it's weird training at home. I love training at home, essentially, because I just like the ability to create my own environment. I'm all right on my own. Karen comes in, trains with me in the morning, but essentially I'm okay. I do miss people a little bit, but not enough for it to be worth the hassle. Even just going down the road, by the time I've got my shit together, driven down the road, gone into the car park, gone upstairs, chatted to the woman there. A couple of guys always chat to me because I'm nice and friendly, even though I don't want them to, but I can't not be nice, right? It's just the way the world works. And it's like, I worked out it's like 40 minutes a day. Well, I like to train almost every day. Even on my day off, I'll come in and do a bit of CV. Right, let's crack on. Yeah, love the slant board. Slant board is good, Tyler. It's incredible for safety. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is back. So what you do is you take up the tension and you let yourself in gently. And then what I do is I walk myself forward onto the slant board. You see what I'm going to do. Now I do it in here. So I start here, go 90 degrees, which gives it a little bit of extra, stimulation. But I don't go too far forward. Otherwise, what I find is it hurts my shitty shoulder. Now, this isn't as good as doing something overhead because you're not getting the stretch. But you know what? It's pretty good. So first things first, back. Before my pre-workout wears off. You're going to hear an old fat man grunting a fair bit. me. Got the clock up there. Karen says people don't know what you're looking at. The clock's up there. The ideal position when you're doing TRX for most things is to keep a nice straight back. I don't always do that. But one thing I do sometimes is bend my back so it bows down a little bit. What I find is that if my back's too high, then I use that to kind of get myself a bit of an extra hunch up. But what I do with this is I'll bend it slightly going down, which isn't necessarily best practice. But it doesn't hurt me back where I have a problem, and it allows me to get further up. I'm only taking 2 minutes between each set. Tyler, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Good to have you on here. If anybody has any questions, anything they want to ask, then just fire on in. So with it being so light, I do travel everywhere with the TRX just in case I can't train. When I train away, when I travel and I go away, what I tend to do is use a local gym. And whilst I love training here on my own, I don't have the equipment for legs in particular. I've got a sissy squat there, which is incredible. Best piece of kit in here. And it's absolutely awesome for legs. But I don't have enough equipment to do legs, you know, because I've got strong legs. I've always trained legs well. So when I go away, I do go into gyms for that. Right, now I'm going to do chest. And so what I do is you go 45 degrees. What you want to try and do is make sure you're not getting scratched with the straps. They shouldn't be rubbing on your body. So it looks slightly different. For me, I can't go too low because of my shoulder, but I can go high enough. This I find a bit difficult because I've kind of got to find my spot. Right. That's the hardest one for me. A wobble. And so once I start getting tired, I can feel, I get a bit nervous about doing it because I can feel me wobble and I'm worried about moving forward. So what I do is I slow down. The more tired I get, the slower I get, the less it moves. But that's chest done. Gym, the pre-workout I have is a brand called Time 4. Not sponsored, but Time 4 Nutrition. That's the protein I have as well. So I have protein powder every day. After I finish workout, when I train in the morning, I just have a protein shake straight away. And Time 4 is the brand I use. The protein powders are incredible. They taste beautiful. The raspberry one, it says raspberry ripple. Like, yeah, it's really going to taste like ice cream. And it does. I don't frigging know what magic shit they put in here. But it tastes like that lemon meringue. You're like, but it does. It's beautiful. So both Karen and I use it. She has toffee. But they do a range of pre-workouts. They do a range of everything. But the pre-workouts, I use a lemon one because it's quite strong and the tropical. But I have just changed pre-workout. So I'm just using the end of the Time 4 one. Because I found another one called Able. I think it's called Able. And it's beautiful. But it's 2/3 of the price. And I've tried it and it's even stronger. But most important thing, it's got my favorite flavor, which is cherry cola. So I love that flavor, and it has the same impact on me. Yeah, not particularly cheap, the pre-workout. Right, now we're going to do legs. Now, there's all kinds of stuff you can do for legs. With TRX, you can do split squats where you go down one leg behind the other, and you go down, you put your leg in one and go down. You can lie on the floor, and you can hook your feet in, lying on your back, and then lift your heels up to your bum and keep your back off, and that helps you with your hamstrings. Never found it particularly great for me. But what I am going to do is I'm going to do body squats. Now, trust me, as a guy who loves doing hack squat and leg press and leg extension in the gym, this is never going to get your legs like Schwarzenegger. Never going to happen. Not in a million years. So what you're looking to do when you're doing things that where you can't pile the weight on like this, you're always looking to increase intensity. And the two things that will do it is slowing it down, speeding it up. So I do 10-second reps where you go down for 5 and then up for 5. Problem with that is it'll hurt your knees. If you've got dodgy knees at all and you're doing that, 5 seconds, even body weight, it can hurt your knees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a set where I go up and down at a decent speed, and I'm going to keep it continuous time under tension. So normally what you do is if you're lifting decent weights, you bang it out, and then you'll kind of have that microsecond, little teeny tiny microsecond where you pause, slight rest, come back down, maybe settle yourself and go again. Time under tension is exactly what it sounds. It's continuous. So you don't look out at the top, you don't stop at the bottom. That's what I'm going to do. Also, big tip, don't go down halfway. It's harder on your knees to get back up when you're halfway than when you go to the bottom, if your knees will take it. So what you've got to do with this is be careful about pulling yourself up, because it's dead easy just to pull yourself back up. So what I do is I get my elbows in, lock myself in, get myself in the right spot, and then go down from there. Now, I'm not going to make this easier. I'm just going to keep going until I fail. So it could be 40 reps. It might only be 20 because it's the evening. I find it hard to train in the evening. One way to make it harder, put your feet together. Not close enough. I'm just not fit enough. I mean, I'm doing CV, but my fitness is awful. Dazzler. Never tried a pre-workout. Can you feel the difference? The short answer is yes, I can. I get up in the morning, I come downstairs, I'll have some water, and I have it, and it has an instant impact on me. It just makes everything tingle a little bit. And then about a quarter of an hour later, everything tingles. You can feel it in your system. And I find it really stimulating. It's basically just caffeine. So you get the same impact of just having really strong black coffee. But there are times when I've not had it. Because if I go on holiday, I don't usually take it with me. Sometimes I do, but if there's a weight limit on packaging, I'm not going to take pre-workout. Can I train without it just as well? Yes. And Karen and I have talked about it. Is it good for your heart when you get older? We have these conversations. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. How many spoons you want in? Put in 2. Come on. Let's fucking rock this place. And it does. It makes me feel great. Really gets me going. But it is not cheap. And not entirely sure exactly how healthy it is for me at my age, because my blood pressure rose, but it is coming back down. But I'm going to get my bloods done soon. I should have got them done before I started this, so I could have had a bit of before and after, see what positive impact it had. But yeah, I'm going to get my bloods done soon, just to see where I'm at. Right. Oh, Graham, mate, they're fucking hard. I mean, the thing is, you can make it as hard. I'm making it hard because I want it to be hard, and because I want the muscle to be stimulated, and I want to grow. I don't want to have a great physique at the end of it. It's all that matters to me. I don't care about being slim. I don't care about being super fit. All I want is that physique at the end. And naturally, I don't take testosterone, never taken any gear. The only way it's going to do is by punishing the muscle. So every set has to work for me towards that end goal. Right. Great t-shirt, Transformation Thomas. Bit of branding. Eventually, I'm going to sell these t-shirts as a bit of merch so that I can keep Karen in the lifestyle she's not become accustomed to. Right, what's next? Chest, legs, shoulders. Now, shoulders. This is interesting. I don't train front delts. So when you've got shoulders, you've got 3 parts. You've got the front, you've got the side, you've got the rear. And I don't train the front because I've got a shitty shoulder. So why put extra stress on it? And when I'm doing chest, a lot of this chest stuff I do trains my front shoulder anyway. So I'm not going to just pile in and do more. The side delt and the rear delt is the bit that I always focus on. And most people focus, I think, too much on the front delt. It's only when you get to, like doing raises like that with a light weight, you realize how little the middle delt, the middle delt gets worked in any exercise. It'll pile in on some exercises, but it's really not very strong. So I isolate it by doing raises. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do shoulders on here, but I'm going to do rear. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pull like that comes to my shoulder, not to my face, because that's for traps, but to my shoulder. Karen suggested this like 4 years ago. She goes, why don't you just do that, see if it works? It's incredible. Right in the middle of, she calls them my chicken nuggets, those muscles at the back. And so that's what I'm going to do. So this is shoulders, rear delts, pulling and look to come back as far as I possibly can, but in line with my shoulders. find that difficult for two reasons. Not breathing is not one of them. The first is it's very easy to cheat and to kind of swing your body. And I'm a bloke, I can't multitask. When the pain kicks in and you really have to focus, you know, I feel my ass and my bollocks going like this. So trying to keep yourself nice and straight, otherwise there's no point in doing it. If you do this and you just throw it up, there's no point. The other thing as well is it's a very, very specific plane that you've got to go through. If you do it too high, it takes it straight into your neck. Too low and it goes into your back. So I find it hard for those reasons. But that is really good. In fact, I did it in a few weeks ago. I did a live where I did bent over rows. They're great too, but that is a great exercise for rear delts. It's an absolute belter. Jacked and tan. Oh, we've had tan, haven't we, Greg? When you get on a bodybuilding stage, it's very, very odd. So, just a complete aside, I competed in a bodybuilding competition 6 years ago. In fact, there's a picture of me here. That's me. So, the other week I did a live and I had a cushion and it had a shitty pillowcase on it. I thought, you know what? I'm going to get a proper pillowcase made. So I got this off the internet. And you know what? When I put it down, it means I can sit on my own face. I'm a funny fucker. But that's what you look like. You know, that's how dark you get. But it's really weird because, I mean, you look almost black. But then when you're on stage, you're under lights that are piercingly bright. And it shows up everything for good and for bad. And Greg, who's on here, he's competed before. And somebody else might have competed. And you go to bodybuilding competitions and you see somebody who's never competed before. They don't have enough tan on. They did it themselves. And they just end up, they just look like, it drains them out. So they spent years training, months dieting, the last week living in hell to get into the best shape possible. And then they lose 2 or 3 places just because they don't have enough tan. You've got to be dark. Right, triceps. So we've done the pull, we're doing the push. So next one is triceps, dead simple. It's overhead, so you do it like this. So basically it's going to be like that, you'll see it. Now, the way it was explained to me when I first used TRX is, imagine you've got your elbows on a shelf and you're just pushing forward, right? Like that. Which is all well and good if you don't have a shitty shoulder. Thanks very much. So I found that the key with this is that when you see me do it, you think, you know what, Dave hasn't got his shoulders high enough, because the best way is to have them up here, really stretch. But it's all right because I work it through, and if it doesn't work, then I don't do it again. But this is a killer for triceps. It isolates them beautifully. You get a really good stretch if you go all the way to the bottom and back to the top. It's incredible. And so that's what I'm going to do now to get all those big triceps. Look at them. Come on. Come on. So they're underneath the lard. They're underneath the lard. Just give me a couple of months, lads, and I'll be back with you. All trimmed and slim. Oh, yeah, that's one thing. Doing this, it hurts my hands. You are having a laugh, aren't you? No, it doesn't hurt my hands. It strips the skin. So I use Karen's gloves for this. It really, it hurts. I mean, it strips it. I don't know why. I kind of get the feeling it's me that's doing something wrong, because I don't think anybody else is bitching about it. And I don't see anybody using. But you know what? Fuck everybody else. Right. So I keep a wide stance because I don't want, it's a small muscle group. If I lose balance and fall, I could really hurt myself. So I keep it wide. You don't have to go back that far. The other thing as well is that I roll onto my toes. I don't know if that's best practice or not. I think some people probably feel that you should have your foot flat to the floor and that would give you more stability. But when it's foot is flat to the floor, maybe it's because I don't have particularly flexible ankles, but I just find it hard when my foot rises up. But when I keep my feet wide, it gives me extra stability. So when I go up on my toes, I'm still stable. I've got enough contact area with the floor, so we're good. I feel such a twat wearing those. I used to look at people in the gym and go, Jesus, mate, have some self-respect. Get the frigging gloves off. So those are coming off for the moment. They're going to have to go back on, though, because I'm doing biceps in a minute. It's going to be sizzling this weekend in the UK again. And it looks like we've got a long period of heat in front of us. Look at me. I know I'm more auburn than African sunset, but I'm properly ginger. Ginger where it counts. You know what I mean? In the testicles. Glow in the dark orange. That's what I am. So the heat doesn't suit me. I don't like being out in the sun. And I don't like heat, so I'm just going to be nestled inside, working away, beavering away. But actually, it's quite cool in here, and we've got fans and whatever, so we're all good. Oh no, mate! I got into great shape, and that's what I'm going to get back to. I'm going to work. I'm not going to get that on that stage, right? So I'm not going to get back to that. But Greg said it gets everywhere as well. Oh, mate. The worst thing about competing is a lot of time you travel and you're covered in all this shit because you get it put on you. So you're having to take sheets with you and you're just praying you don't wake up and it's run onto the bed and in a hotel or whatever. God, it does. It gets everywhere. I did look. I looked all right. There. It was my first time. That was my first time on stage. And I look pretty good. I'll tell you what I'm going to show you, though, because I'm all about honesty. Can you see that bit there? Can you see the loose skin? Those trunks were twice the size of what they should be. I know. But actually, I ended up buying some bigger trunks because I wanted to hide my loose skin. Then I realised it was just a stupid thing to do. So I competed again in the British finals and I got some smaller trunks. But there's a load of loose skin underneath there. You can just about see it there, like a punctured balloon. And unfortunately, that's the way it's going to go. So I will get it again. But this time, depending where I am, I'll decide what to do with it. I'll either just put up with it, or if I want to get rid, I'll go and get a mini tummy tuck. I know a woman who had one after losing 8 stone. She said it was great. Surgery around here, I wouldn't get a full tummy tuck and just all that. But if I get that lean again, or I would get that lean again if I wanted to have a mini tummy tuck. And I know it's vanity, but I don't care. If it makes me feel better, I mean, I train hard. I'm going to get myself back in shape. I make a lot of sacrifices. And if that's the thing that I want, then I'll get it done. Putting the wife's gloves on. Yeah, don't tell her. It's just between us. Actually, she's got bigger fingers than me because I've got like little sausage fingers. It's a bit of a joke in the house, yeah? And I'm talking too much. I've had too much rest. Right, next one is traps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same, but this time I'm going to go higher. And it is utterly different. Just doing like 3, 4, maybe 6 inches higher. And you're looking to touch your ears. So they call it a face pull, but try and get it past your ears. And this is for my traps. This one hurts my shoulder. So I start easy and then work my way into it for a couple of reps, because if I go and I can't go too far forward, so I have to work it and just decide. I kind of have to warm up. Again, this is just being sensible. which is a word that seems to bypass me most of my life. But I'm only 57. If I want to train till I'm 87, I've got to protect myself. And my shoulder is my biggest issue. Right, let's fucking go for it. Come on. So one thing I did mention is you've got to keep the tension in the straps. You can't afford to go forward and then just kind of yank it in, because that's what's going to hurt. And the challenge there for me is keeping the tension, because I've not got my feet that far forward. So by the time I get up here, I'm almost up here, and there's always a danger. But you've got to keep the tension in, because otherwise when you go back, it'll jolt into the muscles, and then that's when the ligaments and the tendons get hurt. 2 more exercises, and then we're done. Thank you very much, Greg. I hope the channel's going to continue to grow. I love doing this. And I will say something out loud. I've been very, very moved by things that people have said. It's made me get my eye. My eyes have been moist a few times for things that people have shared. And I don't particularly see myself as an inspiration. I just see somebody who's sharing and wants to help. And for that reason, I've slightly underestimated maybe what this channel is doing, because the number of comments, the number of likes, and the number of interactions, and the comments are just huge. And I just find it, absolutely fantastic. So, it's a Tuesday night. You could be sat there watching TV, and you come on here to watch it, spend with me, and interact. And I find it very moving. I'll need to stop, because otherwise I'll start crying. And that doesn't fit with the old roughy tufty Yorkshire look, does it? I'm a Yorkshireman. But also the other thing as well, and this is something I would genuinely want to suggest, is that I think it was Graham. Graham said, do it for yourself. Don't do it for us. We're here to help. We're here to watch. We're here to support, but do it for yourself. And actually, that's what I'm doing. But the accountability that comes from running this channel and sharing what I do every week is incredible. Because, and I said this the other day in my last video, nobody gives a fuck. And you do. You care. You support me when I have a bad week. You help me when I'm injured. You give me advice. You tell me how to train better. You tell me how much it means to you. And that accountability is great. I don't see anything wrong with accountability. But you know what it's like. You start an exercise program. You're going to lose weight. You try and get an accountability partner. And they say they're going to be there. And then they kind of disappear. And then they're not really there. And they kind of say they want to help, but they don't, because they're not really invested. But what I found is a community with this channel of people who are genuinely interested in me and want to help and improve themselves. And some of the results are just great. So I am very honored, very humbled by that. Right. I'm going to stop complimenting you. You know why? Because you're the lucky fuckers. You're the lucky ones to be spending it with me. That's what happens every morning when I wake up with Karen. I turn over and I look at her and I go, do you know how lucky you are to be with me? And she'll go, yes, dear. She's rude, which which is why I love her so much. Right, 2 more. Biceps. So what I'm going to be doing here, this is a lot harder for me. So the triceps weren't so bad, but biceps is doing that. So imagine again, you're on a shelf doing that. Find it hard? Find it hard on my shoulder, mate. So what I'm doing is, you will see my biceps come further down. It brutalizes them, blitzes them. So I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about just protecting my shoulders. So do it a bit lower before you start complaining, but it works. And as with all bicep exercises, the danger point is at the bottom. If you overextend at the bottom and then bring it back up, you've got to be careful. So I might not exactly go completely to the bottom. I want to lengthen the muscle, but at the same time, I don't want to rip it, because that's an injury that is almost impossible to come back from. Don't like these. I don't like training biceps at all, which is kind of weird, because you think that, you know, that's what most guys want to do. They want to get big arms, big chesticles, big arms. And I hate training biceps, but I give them equal measure and I train them just as hard as anything else. But it's the burn, the burn. Jesus Christ. It feels a short range of motion as well, but it isn't. I could take these bad boys off now. I could take the gloves off. Give them back to Karen. Do you do rest pause? Simon, yeah. No, Simon, it's all right, mate. Thank you for coming on. I knew you were coming on anyway, mate. That's okay. So Simon said, do I do a rest pause where I go to failure, stop and then go again? Yeah. I have a 4-stage training program. I do super heavy. Most I can lift for 8 to 10 reps. That's kind of what I did with back to start with. I have super slow, which is 5 seconds up, 5 seconds down, or down up, whichever. I do before ready, which is rest pause. Go until you can't move. Fail. Stop for 5 seconds. Go again. Karen can go in 2 seconds. Never seen recovery like it. Never seen it with anybody ever. She stops. 2 seconds, goes again. Me, 5 seconds. It's like, let me just catch my breath. And then the last one is tempo, where I do 30 reps minimum and a steady speed. So rest pause is the same as before ready. So yeah, I do that as one of my 4 main businesses. Dazzler, great to be part of the community. It's just amazing, mate. It's just incredible. Just got to know people, and people are friendly and they care. You know, genuinely care. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm gonna continue doing it. I was wondering about what I'm going to do once I've hit target. Well, I'm just going to keep going, because what I want to do is chart the journey throughout. You know, this is just a weight loss exercise, but it's going to be, how do I keep myself in shape from 57 to 67, 67 to 77, 77 to 87? And then I hope that people come along that journey with me. We learn from each other, and we share. There's no crying in baseball. What does that mean, Graham? I don't know. There's no crying in baseball. I don't know what that means. That's a bit obscure for me, pal. Losing weight gives you so much clothes fit better, confidence rise above everything else, health is blood pressure, etc. Dave will do it. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's weird, I felt, on Friday I did my weigh in. Last week I sat down, looked at my weight, and I just thought, I'm going to do this. I'm 6 weeks in now. I'm 24 pounds down. I've only got like 3 weeks, and I'm going to be nearly halfway done. I'm just kind of getting this thing shifting. Getting the initial momentum is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it's got. I feel great already. I do. Although what was interesting is that I've now got back into clothes for work. That I wear these fancy shirts for work, and I've got these beautiful moleskin trousers. Not been able to wear them, but I wore them last week. So I got some photographs back today. Still look a big fat fuck. I do. And I'm not putting myself down. I'm just being absolutely dead honest. You can see I've got a big tubby. I'm filling it out. Got a bit of the old double chin. So I feel great. I do, because I've not got the same shit going through my system. But I'm not deluding myself, and I will not take my foot off the gas. There's going to be no rest weeks when I just eat what I want and see how it goes. I'm just going to keep going. Dazzler, good advice on biceps. I think if I overdid it a bit. Had tennis elbow a few years back. Bloody hell, mate. Steroid injections in your elbow. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel weak. Makes me go weak at the knees. You've inspired me to get my bands out. Oh, mate, I love bands. Going to be doing one on bands. I know this, like, people go, this ain't training. TRX and bands, what are you talking about, mate? It's got to be heavy weights and big machines. No, it doesn't. Especially not when you get older. It's about progression, using stuff that doesn't kill you and doesn't cause massive injuries and doesn't overload the body. Right. Last one, calves. Calves are a bit tricky. I have never found anything online. I've been looking, TRX for calves, not found anything. But I'll tell you my opinion about calves. And traps as well. The reason I do traps and calves in the all-round workout, and I've always done them, I've always trained both, is for 2 reasons. One, aesthetic. I don't want there to be a weak body part. I don't want to have great thighs and then shitty little calves. That just looks ridiculous. That looks insane. So I don't want it for the aesthetic. But the other thing is this. I'm 57. When I'm 77, I'm going to trip over and fall on the floor. And the chances of me tripping over is going to be, part of it's going to be based around my stability in not just my thighs, but my lower part of my leg as well. And so if I've got stronger ankles, Achilles tendon, stronger calves, and all the muscles around my knees, if all that's stronger as well as my thighs, then it gives me less, more chance of being able to stabilize myself. And if I go over like a sack of shit, what I want massive big traps to help support me when I hit the deck. What I don't want to do is fall on the floor and just crumble like a bag of sticks. And so therefore, calves are important to me. So I've come up with my own little invention, and it's this. And I tried it earlier. I thought, shall I just not say you can't do calves? No, because that's a bit of a cop-out. And so I tried this earlier on, and it really, really burned. So it's dead simple. Squat on the floor, start on your toes, and just push up and down. Tiny movement, but bloody hell, it burns. So pray for me. Pray for me in the church of pain. Send good wishes and thousands of pounds. No, that's fine. Hundreds will do. No, don't go overboard. I know you love me, and I fucking love you, you saucy minx. So yeah, I'm going to go down, and it's just little movements, but these hurt. You're going to see a grown man cry for the wrong reasons in a minute. Right, most important thing with this is tie it in, go all the way to the bottom. I hope you can see it. I think you can, can't you? So I'm down here, and so I'm on my toes. And the most important thing is not to pull yourself up, because otherwise it's a very, very small movement. So you've got to, I'll go a bit closer. So you've got to lock your elbows in, and then you've got to get yourself perfectly stable. The tension needs to be perfect. The length in each one of these needs to be perfect. So they're absolutely the same. You have your legs in the same position, and then you just go up. Oh shit, that's cramped. How am I doing? I love training, but it is a wonderful feeling when you're finished as well. As long as you've trained hard, it's awful when you haven't trained hard. Oh, got a bit lightheaded. Oh, just give me a second. I don't particularly like it, not because it hurts, but because it's quite hard to control it. But if somebody's going to get TRX and that's all they've got at home, oh, God. Give me a second. But if you're going to buy TRX and it's all you've got at home, I so want you to lose. So want you to do carbs. But if you can, get a Reebok step, because that's what I use in here, and that's all I use, and it's fine. I just do one-legged, up and down, up and down. I do have a kettlebell. So this is completely separate to TRX, but carbs are so important, and you see so many guys just don't do them. So basically, make sure, just get yourself on the step, and it's obviously just up and down, one leg. For extra effort, I take a kettlebell, put the kettlebell on the same side as your leg, not the other side, otherwise you'll hurt yourself. Speaking from experience. But the easiest way to make those harder, a hold at the top. Peak contraction, it's called. So go up, hold it for 2 or 3 seconds. You'll sit there going, oh, these are dead easy. And you go up, hold it, 3 or 4 seconds, you'll be screaming after about 12, 15 reps. And then what I do is I always do tempo. So 30 reps, just go until I can't move. And that's enough. But when I go into a gym, if I go into a public gym, first thing I do is find the calf machine. Don't care if I did them yesterday. I'm going to do them again, get a bit of different stimulation. Right. So, Mr. Skipper, I'm on day 44. Find your channel. We're in it to win it, mate. Another sale. 119 kilos from the start of May to 100 today. 8 weeks and 19 kilos. Holy shit. That is a life-changing amount of weight. And you know what? Some people say you're losing it too quick. And it's like, that's not my decision to make. You just do what you do, you, mate. Because 19 kilos in 8 weeks, that's shifting. Well, what are we on, like 10 weeks? So 10 weeks, 20, it's 2 kilos a week, 4.5. I'm losing 3.5. And people always say to me, you're losing it too quick, it's too aggressive. All the shit I had at the beginning with the first video where I said I'm going to lose 0.5 pound a day. And the number of people who just went, you can't do it, you put it all back on. I got one guy, proper dick, just completely went for me. I had to bar him from the channel. He called me a buffoon. And that didn't bother me. And I didn't even mind the fact he was just going for me. Because he had some points to make, he had some good points, but he was just being aggressive. And I've had something like 2,000 thumbs up and like 9 thumbs down on this. And 5 of them were from him. And I'm thinking, you know what, mate, it's just not for you. My channel's not for you. So he can watch it, but he can't comment. So he can come and watch if he wants, and that's good. Gone from 44 waist to 36. It's all about the waist, isn't it? It's all about the clothes. I'm still in 14-inch waist trousers. I'm comfortably in them. They're kind of fairly flat, so I'm good. But it's still 40-inch. When I competed there, I was 28. That's 6 years ago. Now that's lean. But I'll certainly get back down to 32. Once I get back down to whatever, 180, 190 pounds. Yeah. David inspired me to cancel the gym and get my own garage gym. And although it's not as big, mate, amazing. Love that home gym feel. If it works for you, if it doesn't, then public gyms are amazing. I mean, there's two, somebody posted the other day on LinkedIn how they're a member of 2 gyms because they go to work and it's a long way away. 35 quid a month, $50. What the fuck? Jesus, they're going to be paying us to go in soon. I mean, when I started out in 2011, I was 43. I went to Fitness First in Halifax, and it was 35 quid a month, $50 a month back then. And it didn't even open 24 hours a day. And it didn't let you have access to other gyms. So if you can use a public gym, happy days. But honestly, I could easily make this, half this gym work just as well. I'm just very lucky, mate, that I've got a double gym. And also, I don't know if I said this before, but I'm going to say it now. We've got some shit over there, some stuff that's like gardening stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a shed out in the garden. We're going to get the lawnmower. That's Karen's. She does all the manual labour. There's a Kallax in there to get put together, some cupboards. Ain't touching them. These hands don't have calluses for a reason, because it's part of my brain missing. So she's going to do that. We'll get that out. We'll get the other stuff out. And I'm going to get one of those frames. Basically, it just looks like 4 uprights with holes in it, and you can attach anything to it. That's when this is going to turn into a gym. And I'm going to fill it with stuff that you can do. But not just yet. Just happy enough kind of plodding along as I am. I need to lose the weight and use this place regularly. The aggressive man is commonly known as a tip end. Ignore them. Yeah. The thing is, and I'll say it out loud, I'm a professional speaker. I've been a speaker for 30 years. And back in the day, people would come up and just, give me fairly direct and honest feedback. I spoke at the Royal Armouries in Leeds, which is a big museum, back in 1998, December 98. So we're getting on for nearly 30 years ago now. And I spoke to 200 people. And it was the first time in my speaking career I'd spoken to more than 10 people. So I was so excited. And then I stood at the side of the stage and I froze. So I stepped out, 200 people, 400 eyeballs. And back in the day, what we used to do was come on to music. So because I was talking about brain training, because I do memory stuff, I had my music was no, there's no limit. Right, because that's my music. It's 90s dance in my heart. And it was, I'm talking about the brain and saying there's no limit to the brain and what we can remember and everything else. Anyway, I crashed and burned. I was a bit shit. I froze. I got through it. It was fine. But in the audience, 75 out of 200 people filled in a feedback form. And so I said, I want the feedback forms. There were people that day gave me 3. A score of 3, not out of 5 or 10, 20. So what did I do is I phoned all 75 up, even the ones who said Dave was amazing. And I said, what do you like about it? Oh, it was everything. Well, how can I be better? But I also phoned up the people that gave me a 3. And the conversation went like this. So I'd phone them up and I go, hi, my name's Dave Thomas. And I go, never heard of you, mate. And I go, I was at the conference last week. Didn't meet you. I was one of the speakers. Which one were you? I was the one on in after lunch wearing an orange waistcoat and an orange shirt, which I was. And they went, oh, yeah, I remember you. Yeah. Well, what do you want? And I went, you filled in a feedback form. And even though I couldn't see them, I could hear them go, oh, for fuck's sake. And I said, you give me 3 out of 20. First thing they would do is go, mate, I'm so sorry. I went, stop, right there. I didn't phone you up to bitch and moan and whinge. I'm not a BMW. I'm phoning up because I want to know what I did wrong and how to get better. And they were like, all right, okay. Then they told me and I applied it, and I've had a glorious speaking career traveling the world. I've been on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I've been on 500 pieces of television and media around the world. I've spoken in 60 countries. I've had this amazing career. But, you know, in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I didn't know how to improve. So I asked. So the thing is, if I get somebody who comes on here and goes, you're doing it wrong, you're being an idiot, you're a buffoon, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, just take out the buffoon bit, which I think is the greatest word in English language, isn't it? You're a buffoon. What does that even mean, dude? And then look behind and see if there's something to learn. And I'm very, you know, I don't do soft and sensitive. I'm unoffendable. So if you say something to me, I'll be like, oh, well, that's interesting, rather than get upset. But if somebody just keeps coming for me, I'm not going to bring the tone of the channel down. You know, you step outside that garage and there's a world of shit. There's stuff going on in the world all the time. And the fact is, what I'm building here, I think, no, I'm going to rephrase that. What we're building, because you're on here with me, is we're building a really beautiful community of like-minded people who want to support each other. And that, I am not going to let anybody infect that pool. It's a place where I come to meet great people who want to share with me, challenge me a little bit, give me some ideas, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Fantastic. But at the same time, I'm not going to put up with shit. We all get enough of that in the rest of the world. So I had to kick him out. But there's only one. I mean, I think that's all right, isn't it? I've got like 2,037 subs now. And, you know, nearly 4,000 watch hours in 2 months. So we're doing well. You and me, together, we're doing well. You can do so much with a small amount. You get out what you put in as far as diet and exercise is concerned. Yeah. It's a diet, isn't it? The diet's hard work. I just find myself thinking about food all day. But it is what it is. I want to be healthier. I want to do it for, we've got a right tribe of grandkids. And, you know, the other day I was sat with Arthur, my little grandson, and he just gets up and fucks off the other side of the room. Honestly, I swear to God, he's like Roadrunner. Beep, beep. I'm like, shit, dude. You know, and I'm sat there on the floor and I'm like, one leg up and on one knee. Hang on a minute, Arthur, be with you in a minute. Next leg up. And then, you know, you push yourself up and you're going, Dave, I want to be better. I want to be better. Power up, make sure you get a good one, cheap one support, mate. Yeah. In fact, we'll probably chat. Definitely chat. I'm going to get a very good one. I'm not going to lie. I'm lucky, I'm fortunate. I can afford the very best of stuff. And I'm only going to buy it once. I'm going to buy amazing gear. I've made do so far in the time I've been in here. You know, we've got the weights over there. You know, it's kind of a higgledy-piggledy set of weights, which I do like. I like the kind of, you know, earthy feeling to it. But the next stage of it is I might even get a guy in who knows what he's talking about, help me design the gym properly. I don't want to just throw stuff in. I want to really use the space to its very best of its ability. And I'm going to get some good stuff and fill it with the right stuff. Because there's only certain things I want to be able to do. I don't want a squat rack, for example. I don't want the Smith machine. Because you can get those on the racks. You know, I'll figure it out. But Greg's right on that one. Don't get cheap stuff. The thought of something failing. I mean, for me, it's bad enough. If I get injured, I'll take it. If Karen got injured, never forgive myself. Not only that, but, you know, Arthur comes in here, he's 4, coming up 5, and he just loves it. And he comes and jumps on the cross trainer and, you know, picks up the little 5-pound kettlebell and he's running around and, you know, and it makes me a little bit nervous, but, you know, I manage him and it's great. So he's into coming in here. And obviously over the years, we hope he picks it up like I do. Be great to be in here with the grandkids. Simon, David, could I ask? No, you can't. Honestly, you fuckers watching, don't ask, could I ask? You ask because he's nothing. I'm an open book. I will share everything with you, and you're my gang. So we're a gang together. It's not that. We're all in it together. So please always ask. I love it when people ask questions. It's a great feeling. When you put on the weight, did you feel less comfortable with your speaking? Yeah, I did, yeah. But actually for different reasons than you think. Because it wasn't about the way I looked, because I've learned to inhabit a personality. So when I stand on stage, when I'm doing a session with some clients, I just step out and I'm like, fucking David's in the room. Come on. Yeah, it's party time. That wasn't the issue. You know, you learn as a speaker, whatever's happening in your life, you leave it in the car. You walk through the door, the clients expect, that's the only time the client may ever book me. And they want something incredible. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, I'm working with a top client who is needing some help on a really important speech. It's 2 hours and I've got to turn up like that, 100% in the zone. So I've learned how to do that. The challenge for me was seeing clients who I had bragged about and shown that picture. So, because when I started this 6 weeks ago, I was 100 pounds heavier than that, which for the Brits in the room is 7 stone. No, it's 8. Is it 7.5? 9, 7.14s now? Yeah, so it's 7 stone. So I'm 7 stone heavier. And none of it's muscle. It's just lard and fat and donuts. And so I would turn up and see a client and they'd seen me lose the weight. Them, you know, some clients I've had for 20 years, they see me lose the weight and then they see the picture on the pillow and they go, oh, God, you look amazing. Then I'd turn up and I'd always have short sleeve shirts on to show all the guns, you know, look at them for arms, look at them for a pair of forearms. Hey, you don't buy them in Tesco by the pound. Hey, they're not available in the supermarket. Oh yeah, do those from doing some curling. Such a dick. And then, you know, I turn up and I'm like 7 stone heavier. And literally, because I'm very blunt and they blunt back, they're like, you know, in fact, one lad called me a word I can't even say on this stream. And it was just hilarious, but so cutting, you know. But we talked to each other like that. And he's a client. So it didn't affect the speaking, but it affected the way I felt about myself turning up to see clients. And they just go, what are you doing? And you could put a couple of stone on and say, well, I'm powerlifting or try and bullshit your way through. So that was a difficult thing. I'm doing intermittent fasting, also a 24 hours a day. Is this anything you would do, Dave? I kind of do intermittent fasting. I asked somebody, I think on one of the lives I mentioned this. I get up at 6 and I train. I don't eat till 9. I have my evening meal at 6 p.m. So I go 15 hours without food, apart from the pre-workout. So the question is does pre-workout break the fast? I'm kind of thinking it's got to. Maybe you can tell me. So I don't know. I guess it's got to, because it's got to have something in it. I mean, it's got sweetener in it or something, but it's got something that stimulates my system. So does that break the fast? Probably. But I don't actually have food. You know, I mean, you know, I have food at 9. You know, my first kind of meal of the day is only a protein shake, and that's 9 o'clock. The first real solid food I have isn't till 12. That's when I have my egg whites. So I don't, you know, there's big chunks of the day I don't eat. Somebody said I found yoke equipment are reliable. One thing I'm going to do is get a British manufacturer, only because if it needs servicing and fixing and all the rest of it, I want to get some adjustable dumbbells. And the best ones in the world are like $2,000, and I'd love to get them, but they're not available in this country. They're the best ones that there are according to the reviews, but I don't want to get something that I can't get fixed, and serviced and parts for. Has the Haribo factory been rebuilt? That's something I said in one of my previous things when I was talking about dragging curls, and I said, just in case nobody knows what it's referring to. So I was saying that when you're doing dragging curls, which are just brutally painful, where you drag the bar up, past your cock and balls, up here, up to your chesticles, and hold it there, and they're painful. And I said, it'll make you cry more than when I told my grandson that the Haribo factory had been burnt down. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know why I'm allowed near the grandkids, but they love me and I love them, and we have fun. I've got so much fun coming up in the summer. I'm having the boy every Friday for 6 weeks in the summer, all day. It's just gonna be a laugh. Right, has anybody got any? Oh, got something else coming on? Iron Master dumbbells are great. Are they adjustable? Just pop in there. Are they adjustable ones? You know, because I tell you what, it's a pain in the arse putting them on and off. I like the feeling of natural iron and putting them on, putting the clips on, but just, you know, for drop sets and that, it's really tricky. You're an inspiration. Hello from Louisiana, 69, doing full body 3 days a week. Have a TRX, it's a perfect timing. Mate, 69, doing full body 3 days a week. It doesn't get more perfect than that, I don't think, because I can train more. I do the bro split, I do push pull legs, but I tell you what, if I was only training 3 days a week, or I only had the desire to train 3 days a week, or if I was only at that time, full body workout 3 days a week. No, nobody needs to do more than that ever. Dazzler, thank you, mate. Thank you very much for coming. And Skip It, yeah, Iron Master dumbbells are great. Clicks. Yeah, I've seen loads of reviews. The problem with the adjustable dumbbell, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain. So they are now adjustable dumbbells. So what you do is you kind of twist the handle, or there's various different things you can do. And what you can do is you pull it out of a stand and you can click it to whatever you want. So if you want 22, you just turn the handle, it gets 22, and you get exactly that. If there's any more weights than that, say they go up to 40 or even 50, that weight gets left in the stand, in the cradle, and then you do your work and you can put it back in. And they're just great because you don't have to put weights on and off. They're just not particularly cheap. So don't buy cheap ones, because this is the problem. The individual clicking mechanism can fail, in which case the whole thing's knackered. It doesn't work at all. And with some, if you get where they've got, a lot of them are plastic, but if you get ones, there's some where they're metal, some kind, whatever metal it'll be. But because the difference between the weights is only maybe 2 kilograms, the weights that it adds on are fairly small, and they're like thin discs. And so people have put them down and they've just shattered, you know, individual bits. So you've got to be really careful. Do tons of reviews if you get them, but they are pretty cool. And even though they're expensive, so British money, 600 quid for a decent set, getting them for $1,000. I mean, you can pay all the way up to a couple of $1,000. But the thing is, I bought these weights here like this. I bought these in just before lockdown, and they were £1 a kilo. So one, you know, say $1.50 a kilo, right? I wanted to buy some more, and they were £2 a kilo, like a week later. So the thing is, I had to go out and spend. I went out and spent 200 quid on 200 kilos. So it's like $250 just to get that anyway. Well, I could get rid of all of that, get some adjustable dumbbells, but you know, Karen says she wants to keep them, so we're keeping them. If she says it's happening, it's happening. Happy wife, happy life. Simon, thank you very much, mate. Best wishes to all subscribers. Yeah, Skip it. I'm with you on that one. Do they break easy? I don't know, possibly. But you know, I think they're very, very sexy. They make me cream myself when I look at them. I look at the reviews. But there's a brilliant channel called Garage Gym Reviews. A guy called Coop. I love Coop. He's an American guy. He goes into garage gyms. Oh, it'd be my dream for him to come here. My dream. But when I've got a better gym for him to come and look at, because I don't know where he's coming from. But if you go on there, he tests all the dumbbells. He gives you great reviews. So that's a good place to go if you're thinking about getting some adjustable dumbbells. Because the thing is, right, you know, one gentleman on here has said he's got a limited amount of space. He's got a garage, but it's not as big as this. You don't need much when you've got adjustable dumbbells. What you need is you need this. You need a really, really good bench. That's an incredible bench. It's rock solid. It's got piping about this fucking thick, welds to, you know, float a battleship. Cost me $500, 350 quid, and it's incredible. Lasts forever. So once you've got that, and you've got TRX, and I'd say maybe 1 or 2 kettlebells and adjustable dumbbells, you are good to go. You can do 90% of what you can do in a gym, really. You know, forget the machines, of course, but, you know, you can do anything with that, and you can do it in the tiniest of space. But the moment you have to get a set of dumbbells or you have to get all the weights, it just adds up time and space. Rubber hex with me. Oh, obviously. So Graham's put there, rubber hex with me, 5, 7, 10, all the way up to 30s. I find the hand is tight with the adjustables. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I would really need to test adjustables before I bought them. But hex ones are great, aren't they? So the hexagonal, best thing about them, they don't roll. I don't know why anybody makes round dumbbells anymore with weights. You put them down and they roll. If you've got a 30-kilo dumbbell and it rolls onto your foot, it will break your toes. I don't understand why they make them round at all. Everything should just be hex. That's a great safety feature. Check out Iron Master. Yep, I will. I mean, APT Iron Masters go up to 125. Well, I'm going to check out stuff as I go along. I'm very excited about changing the gym when I choose to do it, but you know, I'm just kind of settling in where I am. And yeah, but at the moment, I've got everything I need. I can train really hard. I go out to the public gym every so often. I've got my cross trainer, which is absolutely just burning the fat off me. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be losing hardly any weight at all, really. I'd lose a little bit here and there. That's the thing. And that's the most important thing. It's a matrix. It was like $3,000. 2,000 quid, 2,200 quid, I think it cost. But it's just magnificent. Because when it comes to cross trainer or stationary bike or anything like that, the problem is if you get one that's too cheap, because you can get them, you can get them fairly cheap, is that if it's not smooth and you're jerking forward all the time, it's very difficult to work yourself at the right level. I'm just not that fit. And so the thing is that when I get on there, it has to be just set perfectly. I need, as it goes from one level up to the next, it needs to be a smooth gradient. I don't want it to wobble all over the place. So that thing is where all my money's gone, and it's worth its weight in gold, and it's been fantastic. Look, we've been on for 90 minutes, eh? Me and you sexy people, you gorgeous, beautiful, sexy motherfuckers. So has anybody got any more questions or anything like to drop? By the way, what's with the crowns? Thank you, Greg. Thank you for coming on, mate. You've been a fantastic supporter, Greg. I'm just going to give, everybody's been amazing commenting, but Greg's really stepped out and given me tons of advice. So thank you. Honestly, Skippy, get into the best shape of your life. Trust me, you just don't need that much stuff. It's not. I think the biggest thing about public gyms is boredom. Is when you're training at home, there's only a limited amount of stuff you can do. And and if you're the kind of person who needs a bit more variety, a bit more variation, then a public gym's gonna do it for you. But for me, no, I'm good at home. I love being at home. There's something really special for me. You walk out the kitchen, I'm banging the pre-workout at 6 o'clock, walk through the door straight into my own gym. Sexy as fuck. What do the crowns mean on the chat? Somebody help out a very old man who's not up to speed with the technology. Crown mean top fans. Oh well, that makes sense. In as much as I know, like Simon Stevens there. Simon comments on everything. So I've been doing shorts recently, and they've just absolutely fucking tanked, honestly. Because no, I mean, I don't know if you know much about YouTube, but I follow YouTube a lot. I've learned a lot about it. I want the channel to do well. So normally what happens is, say if you get 100 views on a long form video, like this live or one of my other long form videos, you probably expect to get, say, 1,000 on a short. As most people know, you get 10 times as much. It's been the other way around. I've been getting an average of 5,000 views on the long form. I've had like 2 shorts that have gone over 1,000. But Graham on here made a really, really good point. And Graham said that he said, I went on and watched one. I realized I'd seen you before. I'd heard the clip before, so I just stopped watching your shorts. And I'm like, then why isn't YouTube pushing my shorts to a new audience as a bit of a taster to bring them into these, which is what I was hoping it would do. But it would appear that's not what's happening. Although it might just be because I'm clipping shorts from the long form. I'm getting too technical. But anyway, bottom line is the shorts are not working. And I wouldn't be unhappy to not do them at all, because they don't build community. They don't build what's happened here, where people are coming on and sharing. So Melanie, is a twat to me in the gym, breaks me every time. I'm just going to take a wild guess here and mean your beautiful husband. Huh? Is that who you're talking about, Melanie? Come back. I thought he'd fucked off. I don't, Dave. I haven't started yet. Just breaking her in at the moment. But I do love to see couples training in the gym, because you always get one of two things. You get 2 people who are really in sync and just kind of do it very, very well together. And I'm fortunate with Karen. Karen's always said the same. She goes, tell me what to do and I'll do it. I don't want to think. I don't want to learn. I don't want to decide what we're going to be doing, because I'm all about, right, we need variation. We need to do that exercise over there, and this one's for mass, and that one's for this and this and this. And she's like, just tell me what to do. So we get up, we crack on, and she's super strong, which helps. So we can do same kind of heavy lifting exercises. But then there's those couples, and you just see it. And usually it's I know this is a bit cliched, but usually it's the guy who's dragged along with his poor wife and or partner, and she's like, I'm not really happy about being here. And but sometimes they come out, you know, and they end up, and it ends up being fun. No, thanks, Dave. Popped on to watch for 5 minutes. Been here for ages. Great content. Noel, I'm a goddamn I'm a superstar. I'm a YouTube legend. That's what you need to know, dude. I'm amazing and modest. No, thank you for coming along. It's this is good fun, right? Look, we just if I go in there, Karen's away, I'm just gonna be sat in there watching shit TV. Although I've got some comments to answer from earlier today. So when you comment on this, I do try and comment. I think I've commented on every single one, replied. Hang and bang. Take care, hang and bang. Never heard that before. Love that phrase. Melanie's back on. Yep, he's just breaking me in, Dave. He's making it sound like a horse girl. What is wrong with him? What do you even see in a man like that, Melanie? Hey, I think it's time to get on Tinder, love. That's what you need to do. Just taking a guess. You're far too good for him. Just a bit of life advice. If there's a divorce on here, I'm going to get sued, right? Greg's going to come on back and I'm going to sue you. I'm menopausal. Okay. Been through that. Oh, yeah, that's an experience. Oh, it's awful. It's horrendous. I mean, I don't know if any of you follow a guy called James Smith. One of the things he's talked about is he started in his 20s doing stuff. But one of the things he talked about was women with periods and women in menopause. And I watched his TED Talk, and it was just incredible because, you know, Karen's gone through it, and it's just awful. The weight you put on, you know, trying to keep motivation. I mean, the same is it's the same for guys. Guys, it's 1.2% testosterone loss from the age of 40. That's what kills us. And you know what? I could just put that back up a bit, couldn't I? because it keeps cutting my head off. I could have done that 40 minutes ago, couldn't I? Fucking idiot. But yeah, so the thing is that, it's just, it's the oldest cliche joke in the book, isn't it, menopause? And it's just the most fucking awful thing for too many women. Some women sail through it, but no. So genuinely, you have my sympathy if it's caused new issues. And Greg, just got to hold a hand through the process, as we all do. Message to everyone: pass this on to your family and friends. Let's get him to be. I want to be a legend. I want to be a legend in my own lifetime. In this garage, I'm barely a legend. Thing is, I don't tell anybody about this. I don't tell anybody about the. I did tell anybody about the channel. So apart from, I think I messaged you the day. I told the other week. I said I told a group of guys, chief execs. I did a session with. I told them about the channel, and it was just like that. Honestly, they were dead behind the eyes. Didn't give a fuck. But it's quite interesting. I've not told anybody. My kids don't know. My mates don't know. There's only one. My best mate knows, and that's it. Because I'm just not telling people. But it'd be nice. What I want is people to come on here who really need it. That's what I want. If people come on here, I've had guys saying they're lonely. They've got, they need some help. They don't really know what to do. They just need a bit of motivation. They just need a gang to be a part of a tribe. That's what we're trying to create. Oh, Melanie, God bless you, girl. Absolutely, but you do enjoy it. Well, that's the most important thing. I tell you what, it's great getting strong when you're older. I mean, I don't know how old you are. That was rude. You might be 28, Greg might be your sugar daddy. Shouldn't have said that, should I? Honestly, the stuff that's in my head that shouldn't come out of my mouth. So gobby. Put the check in the post. But I do enjoy it. So, but it's just great, isn't it? It's wonderful being able to train and feel strong as the older you get. I just like going in public gyms to smash it up against the young lads because I'm not strong. But when you go into an average gym, like a public gym, if you go into a proper meathead gym, you're going to go in there and there's going to be somebody deadlifting 400 kilos, right? But when you go into a normal kind of public, Planet Fitness or Pure Gym, then, I'll stand there, there'll be some kid who's doing 24 kilos on that. And I'll just kind of just walk past him and pick up the 35s, 38s, or whatever. And they always look at you funny, which I find endlessly amusing. Although when I was in great shape, when I got in really good shape, I had the most amazing experience one day. I'm in the gym and this guy comes over and he's like 21 years old. I think I've told this story before, but it was just magical. And he came over and he went, "Hey, mate, my mate over there thinks you're a legend." And I'm like, "Oh, hi, which one?" So I looked over and this dick's come over to see me and there's two of his mates over there. And I'm like, "Which one?" He went, "Yeah, the ginger one over there." I went, "Oh, let's go and have a chat." So we go over and this ginger lad is just bright red, right? You can't see where his head finishes and his hair starts. And I'm like, "All right." And he goes, "Yeah." I went, "Come here, let's have a chat." So we went over and chatted somewhere else. So I left these two idiots that were laughing at him. And then all of a sudden they're out in the cold wanting to know kind of what's going on. So I chat and I said, "So how are you doing? How's your training?" And he goes, "Oh, it's all right, yeah." And I went, "So you're a bit inspired by me?" And he goes, Yeah. You're doing great. You look fantastic." I said, Yeah, I'm in my 50s. And he went, "No." I went, "Yeah, how old are you?" And he was like 19. I said, "Mate, just take it easy. Don't overlift. Don't get injured. Eat well. You're gonna do fine." And I said, "Just train hard. Push yourself to failure, but don't go over too much with the weights." And he just, honestly, his face lit up like a Christmas tree. He was so happy. And and so it's nice to go into public gyms because you get the chance to show off what you've got. I don't want to show this off, but give me 3 months, 3.5 months, I'm gonna have delts and shit. Get the super chats and the merch on. Come on. Let's get some money coming through the channel. Hey, come on. Then I can stop being a speaker. No, I love being a speaker. Honestly, it's a great job. I just don't like the travel. When I was 30 and I became a speaker back in my 20s, and I couldn't get out the door quick enough. I was like, I was straight out the door. Give me an airport. Give me a hotel. give me a train. I don't care. Come on. And I've spoken in Iceland and Iran and India and all over America, and I got a green card. But now I'm like 57. I'm like, oh, can't be asked with the travel. Stuck on the motorway. You know, the queues at the airport for security. So, in case you don't know what super chats are, when I get monetized, which will be after this tonight is the video. This live is the one that's going to send me over the limit for getting monetized on YouTube. And then what you can do is you can put super chats in, so you can donate some cash. You can pay to ask a question, and then they go to the top of the thing. I think that's how it kind of works. And merch. I'd love to sell some merch, but what I want to do is sell stuff. And this is kind of further down the road, and it all sounds a bit kind of, you know, financial, and that's not what I'm meaning. What I want to do is help. So, you know, there are things that make a massive difference to me. You know, the first is protein powder. The second is pre-workout. Third is creatine. The next thing is the gym equipment I've got. And the next thing are the clothes I wear. And this is a shit t-shirt that I just got off the internet, plain black, and got it printed up. But what I would love to do is research, you know, clothing that, and it's fine, it works fine. But I would like to get really good stuff that I could share with you, so that you can really make the most of it. And, you know, and if at the same time it makes something for the channel, then happy days. And if you want to support it, then that's good. But also I'm going to recommend stuff. I recommend Time 4. They're not a sponsor, but sponsors are going to start coming and wanting to get involved. So, you know, that side of things, I don't know. I don't want to just turn it into kind of this money-making machine, but I'd love to spend more time doing these. I'd do a live every day, me. I'd film myself every day just training to be able to support people and show what it is I do. But it's all about time. I'm doing OMAD and get results, £1 a week. I have low energy. How to boost energy without eating. So I didn't know what OMAD was. I'm going to say that's 1 meal a day. William, I don't do 1 meal a day, mate. And I'm losing £0.5 a day. I'm losing 3.5 pounds a week. And so this is what it is. I've not seen your name before, William, so forgive me if you've been following me and I've not seen it. But here's what I do, right? And it's dead simple. It is now 8:45 at night, and I've only had 1,000 calories today. So what I do is I train in the morning. I then have a protein shake, which is whatever, 250 calories, because I have a lot of protein in it, so it's 50 grams. I have egg whites with some veg and so protein only, with ketchup for my lunch. That's about 240 with the veg and ketchup, maybe 300. And then I have cottage cheese and pineapple at 3 p.m. So I have about 1,000 calories up until 3 p.m. up until 6 p.m. when I have my tea. And the thing is, so for me, that 1 meal a day, about putting it all in, would be difficult for me. I wouldn't want to eat a meal that was 1,600 calories. But I'm 1,600 calories. It's giving me a calorie deficit of, say, 1,500 calories, smashing it on the cross trainer. That's what's helping me lose weight. But I'm spacing the food out. And I'm going to be eating tonight. I'll be up till midnight because I haven't had my tea. So normally I have it 3 hours ago, but I wanted to do I really wanted to do this on an evening, see if more people would come on and more people would enjoy it. And it would appear that's the case. But 1 meal a day would not work for me. I don't know how you're quite doing that, because I don't know. Unless, I mean, if you're having 1 meal a day and only 1,000 calories, then you're going to struggle, William. So I try to keep busy, stop the hunger. I don't think anything does, mate. There are some things I have during the day. I have quite a bit of coffee, maybe 2. Actually, I don't. 2 cups, maybe. So I have it 2 cups. I have it with sweeteners. That helps. I do have 2 Monsters a day, half a litre each. So I have a litre of Monsters. Don't tell Karen, because I have the caffeine in the morning, and I have that. And somebody's going to tell me, Dave, you need to sort that out. I do. I should really only have 1, if that, but I do love them. Monster, Ultra Monster. But I have, Cherry Pepsi Max, which I adore. I don't drink enough water. which Karen is always smacking me on the arse for. But that does help. But spacing the food out. I mean, by the time I have a protein shake at 9 o'clock. By the time I get to 12, my arse is hanging out, William. I mean, honestly, I could spit roast a small child. I am that hungry. So I get the egg whites and it barely touches the side, but it's fine. But what I do is I save the calories. I have a 600 calorie meal for my tea, lots of veg, some protein in there, not so much, maybe some carbs. I don't know. It depends how hard you want to go. I've always said, I'm going to go hard or go home. That's never been anything different for me. I'm going to go at this like a bullet a gate, half a pound a day. But, I'm not going to lose a pound a week. Yeah, I'll never get there. Never get there. And I understand why other people do, of course. Do what you do, but not me. I like the sausage hoodie. Yeah. Do you like what's on the back? Time to shift some sausage. That's my favorite. That's my favorite phrase. I was in the gym about 4 years ago, and I said, put a bit of weight on. He goes, yeah, I thought you put a bit of sausage on, Dave. And I was like, it doesn't mean anything, but it's funny. So I like it. So this is what's going to, if I ever do t-shirts, it'll be my branding, but it'll be some cool stuff on the back as well. Because we just got to have a laugh, right? Even when we train, you've got to have a laugh. Melanie, he should be so lucky. I think he's a lucky fella. I think you two make a magnificent. I don't have sorry, I didn't read the rest of it. I don't have the capacity to think, so just do as I'm told. That's okay, Mel. That's all right, Melanie. We're all a bit like that sometimes. I mean, I'm the same. Honestly, when I'm on this diet, forgetfulness is not funny. When I was competing, when I showed you the competition pictures, I left my suitcase on the train. I left my wallet. I slept. I missed my train station. I fell asleep. Because the thing I have found this time is I'm tired. This afternoon I got to 3 o'clock and I just fell asleep. I thought I've got to have a kip, and then I thought, shit, I'm gonna miss my life. And I woke up like an hour later with a massive start. So I went from not needing a kip during the day to now needing a bit of a kip during the day. So when I was eating loads of shit, I'd be asleep at 3 o'clock every day, wherever. Well, I could do it stood up, fall asleep stood up. Now, first of all, clearing the shit out of my system, I felt great. No nap needed. Now I'm back to needing a nap again because I am tired. But I'm not wringing myself out completely. I'm not being weird with Karen or anything like that. I'm not being whingy whiny. It is not fair. It is not fair to inflict this on anybody else. It's losing weight. I'm not trying to, come up with a cure for cancer. I'm fat. I got myself here. I'm going to get myself out of it, but it's not fair to inflict it on anybody else. And at the moment, the biggest issue in terms of inflicting it is just that we don't eat the same, we don't eat the food that we used to on an evening. And we just had a chat this afternoon, and she goes, she always used to like it when she used to cook an evening meal because I can't cook. I would if I had to, but she's a great cook. And at the end, she'd always go, how was your dinner? And I go, it's great. She's got fantastic. So that moment of sitting down on an evening and having a great meal, those have kind of gone. But we still have some nice meals here and there. We adopt and adapt, and we eat the same thing. But it's not what it was. And so that's, so I'm not going to inflict anything. Ian just got back from a 5-mile walk with a 10K vest on. I've seen people in the gym using the vests, the weighted vest. They look great. They look like hard work to me, but they do look good. William, I was doing 16/8 fasting and progressed to 1 meal a day. Well, yeah. The thing is, William, if it isn't working, you've got to change it. You've got to flick it back. Don't be too, and I'm the same, I'm like, I was the same with exercise. I've always trained through injury, pushed on through and waited for it to go and suffered the pain. And yet this time I changed. I changed it a few weeks ago. And I went light, took a few days off, and the injuries went. And I'm now back in training. So we just got to adopt and adapt the older we get. Can't afford to just be stubborn old fuckers staying with the same thing, because like most old people do. 1,700 calories in just one meal. I'm not a nutritionist, mate, so I can't really offer advice. Personally, I'm eating 1,600 calories a day, average. I split it up into 4. I wouldn't want to eat 1,700 in one meal. It'd probably give me a bit of stomach ache, even if it was really nice food, because I'm eating so low volume as well. I mean, the egg whites are quite voluminous. It's 0.5 kilo. So it ends up being like 0.5 litre if you want to kind of turn it into those. So, yeah, just think about it. Started at 24 stone. Well, you're down to 18.4. Lost it with skinny jabs. You do what you need to do. Then going natural, I want to lose weight long term, not in a short space of time. Well, William, if you're making progress moving forward, happy days, mate. But oddly, you must feel great. You've lost 1/4 of your body weight there, dude. Well done. High five, William. Well done. I've done slow to keep it off. I do look in shape, I hope. It's weird, isn't it, looking at yourself? You can't help but have a bit of body dysmorphia. When you're looking at yourself. Body dysmorphia is when you look in the mirror and wish you saw something different or not see what it is that's there, because, this is a bodybuilding thing. Most professional bodybuilders have got body dysmorphia. They can be in the most amazing shape and go, yeah, but my triceps are too small, or this, I don't have a small enough waist, and so on. And Ian, feel really fit, 64. Well, it's about how you feel. Good for you. So William said, I'm 40, you're in your 60s, much different metabolism. I don't think he's talking to me. I'm 57, but I'm guessing you're talking to Ian. So yeah, that's what I love about, even when there's a conversation going on in the chat, I love that when people are talking to each other. That's what I want to do is, my knowledge is limited on many, many things, particularly nutrition. I think nutrition is such a delicate thing to start giving people advice on, because I don't know. I can't tell you what is optimal in terms of, because, you've got to go deep on, how it affects your body and the nutrients, and, people have got all kinds of medical conditions. So I don't do that. So I think when people offer advice and support. William, I have a lot of belly fat. So the idea is I get my brain to burn fat, not sugar. Ian's on 1,800 calories a day, high protein, and he's hungry. Well, I'm not going to lie. I feel hungry most of the time. I just keep myself really busy. I'm just busy with work. And I really focus on the end goal. I'm an excessive person, and that's what made me fat. That's what got me all the way up to like 270 pounds. And so the thing is, which is basically 19.5 stone. So that excessive part of my brain is the bit that I can switch on to bring me all the way back to get this shit done and get the sausage shifted and get myself back in great shape. And so it's all or nothing for me. I've always been all or fuck all, and it hurt, and it's not really done me any favors. But right, we're draining the tank now. We're getting to the end of what I can see. The numbers are dropping, so I love it that you beautiful people have stayed on as long as you have. Some of you come on, nipped off, come back, whatever. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it very, very much. I love training. I love sharing it with you. I think training is the bedrock of all of this. Weight loss is important, but I think getting in shape, feeling good about yourself, it's not just about losing the weight. It's how you look at the end of the process. That is really, really important. Well, it is to me. So I will love you and leave you. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go off and have my tea. And I'll see you again soon. There'll be another update later this week. I'm doing 2 of these a week. So thanks, Greg. Mate, all of you have got so much patience to stay with me. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, Melanie. Good luck with Greg. Think you're going to need it. Right, piss off, all of you. Love you to bits.